welcome to another episode of Old Roommates. Today on the show, get ready, we are revisiting Porky's, the 1981 Sex Fest. So grab your fake ID and get ready.
Good, Christina.
Thanks.
I like that. Hey everybody, and welcome to Old Roommates, the only podcast that revisits pop culture through a middle-aged lens.
The only
one.
The only one.
This is Brian.
And this is Christina.
And we are talking about Porky's 1981, which makes this film 40 years old.
No, that can't be
40.
Right. That can't be right. 81 is about 20 years ago, Brian. Everybody knows that.
20 years ago was still 2000. That's the stuff that blows my mind. Anytime I hear someone say, like, 2007, I think it's, like, 3 years ago.
Oh, it was like yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
1981, 40 years ago. Christina, I'm dying to know, when was the first time you saw Porky's?
I'm assuming it was in the movies. I'm not really sure.
Oh my God, really? Wait, really?
Maybe. It was 40 years ago. I don't even know.
How old are you in 81? How old are you? Wait, 40 years? How old are you now? You weren't 11.
No, you're right. You're right. I'm sorry. I'm not that old. You're right. So I was like 12 years old.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I know when I first saw this movie.
12 or 13 years old?
Yeah.
I'm assuming, I'm not, you can answer after, but I'm assuming it was with your dad.
No,
so,
no.
So,
that's fine.
Okay, obviously, no. I guess I wasn't even thinking about how old I was. Because I'm thinking, again, 80s were 20 years ago. So I must have rented it. I remember it being funny and raunchy and taboo and all of those things.
So you were old enough. The first time he says you were old enough to get it.
I was old enough to know that this was like a raunchy comedy.
Okay.
With, that dealt with sex. I don't know if I knew what sex was. I mean, I was like in junior high.
Okay.
Puberty. Yeah. Kind of like understood what sex was, I guess.
I don't think half the characters in this movie know what sex is.
But I remember it being just like, this is like, ooh, this is a movie to watch. It's like the, dirty
little
raunchy
secret
kind of movie. Yeah. So what about you? Tell us now. It wasn't with your dad?
Well, it's so funny. No, it's not with my father. Here's what Christina's saying, that because I watched Fatal Attraction in a movie theater with my father and my stepmother. Oh my God. Anyway,
totally appropriate.
Totally appropriate. I mean, but that's that. I mean, he was just like that. He let me rent whatever I wanted.
Right.
I mean, that actually is why I think I love movies so much. Like I could
I
saw everything, and I could self-edit and be like, you know what, I'm not into that.
It could have gone either way, right? You could have gone either love it or hate it.
True. Okay, so this is, so I recall this being on cable a hell of a lot. And I remember, sneaking watching it, possibly with my cousin Rob, and watching Porky's. And the whole thing, you're right. Like this was like an infamous film. Mm-hmm. To the point, and I want to jump a tiny bit, and I'll go right back. But this movie, in my mind, was like a dirty little secret. Like to me, it was like you knew what Porky's was. It was a movie. It was a dirty, filthy comedy. Lots of full-frontal nudity. Mm-hmm. Do you know that this movie was the 5th highest grossing movie of 1982? Because it came out late in 81. It was made for $4.5 million. It made $136 million in 1981-82. So this was a hit. It
was a hit. I think, not to interrupt you, but I think it's a hit because there was nothing else out there like this.
That's absolutely right.
And there was no internet.
Well, it's like Basic Instinct. It's like, that was a big hit. I mean, is it a great movie? That's questionable. But it's because, you're going to see full-frontal. Oh, there's going to be these
this is where
steamy
people
sex
went.
scenes. It's like
teenagers or whatever, right?
Just rent porn. You need to see a dick that bad. Like, just rent, like, you know, go to the other side of the video store and just pick something out. You want to see Bush, like, I mean, just buy a magazine.
Right.
But so therefore, what you have are these people that are like, well, it's a mainstream film.
Right. Like,
so
this
I'm
is
going to
I
see.
can watch porn without having to go to the other side of the
I'm
video
not going
store.
to lower myself.
That back room.
Yeah, but I will go to see a cinematic film in a theater. Like, yeah. And I'm sure that's their excuse to see some nakedness. In fact, so going back to me, and being little, like, I remember this being like, oh my god, I probably shouldn't be watching this right now. And not even the nudity, the language is filthy. I clutching my pearls, like, filthy, disgusting, talking about, you know, all kinds of things, and I'm like, I found it, like, even being a kid, being like, I shouldn't be watching this. This is like a vulgar.
This is too much.
So it's probably 10, 11 years old. I mean, of course I watched it because I knew I was doing something wrong, because you're a kid and you want to do wrong things.
Well, yeah, and I mean, there's no one holding you back, right?
And it's a victimless crime.
Although I will say, your mom was a great mom. I want to
clear
that up.
Oh, absolutely.
She would not have let you watch this. I'm just clearing that up.
Very
Dee,
different.
if you're listening, we know you're a
very
great
different.
mom.
In fact, they both had cable, so it was over my dad's on the weekends. So if that they would have already been divorced by then. So maybe I watched it on cable, like, at his house.
Yeah.
And just, like, it was late at night, and I was just, like, watching it. But, like, knowing, like, keep the volume turned down.
Yeah.
Porky's had a reputation. It was notoriously a dirty movie, or not dirty, raunchy. You said raunchy. That's the best word. Raunchy movie. So you knew. I had the volume turned way down, and, like, but I just remember being like, oh my god, this is, like, gross. Like, it's like the dialogue is gross, and just knowing, like, I would be in trouble if I spoke this way, and I think I was more shocked by the dialogue than, like, the nudity, being like, oh, like,
right, because there's some nudity, but it's not.
It's not sexual.
It's not a sexual movie. Not a sexual movie. It's not sexual nudity. It's, you know, a shower scene.
Let's remind people, the big sex scene with Kim Cattrall, there's no nudity. You see his butt. You see the side of his butt.
Right.
The side of his butt, not even, like, full butt. And then the nudity comes into play in the shower scene when they're peeping. Right. Whatever, looking at the girls in the shower. And then one of the guys pulls his pants down, which we have to talk about that scene. Because I feel like I have, like, revisionist history. Why? We'll get there. So
it's a pinnacle scene. I think when people think about Porky's, they think about that scene. So we'll talk about it after.
Jumping into now, Christina, 2021.
Oh, Brian, it was a painful watch for me.
Yeah.
It was a painful watch.
Do tell.
I expected it to be funny, and it really was not funny. This movie is, I wrote it down because I get this wrong all the time, and now I can't find it. 1 hour and 39 minutes.
A chore.
This was painful. I was watching this and I'm like, all right, there was nothing appealing to this movie for me at all. It was not funny. It was not entertaining. The nudity was stupid. The sexual situations were dumb. There were some shocking moments where there was this character that I completely forgot about, this whole, like, storyline with the Jewish boy, and this guy's super anti-Semitic, and he's racist and everything. Like, he's, like, just a bad guy. That was shocking to me. That kind of woke me up a little bit. I'm like, whoa, he's calling them all kinds of bad names. The N-word is thrown out there.
They use the N-word.
Like, I mean, it's just really, really bad guy. Yeah. But aside from that, this movie was so freaking boring to me, and 100% a chore to watch this. I'm like, when is this thing ending? Can I stop it in the middle of this? I mean, it was close. It was close. I was almost going to say, look, I couldn't make it through the whole thing.
This movie is so bad. Okay, I don't know for any way you slice it. And really quick, written and directed by Bob Clark. Why that is important is because Bob Clark did A Christmas Story.
Wow.
You'll Shoot Your Eye Out?
Wow.
Bob Clark did pass away, and very tragically, he was hit head-on by a drunk driver. Very sad, really sad story. However, this was his first like big to-do. Porky's. This movie is really, really bad.
Yeah.
It's funny because I remembered I didn't remember the specific dialogue, but I absolutely remember being a young kid being like, oh my god, because there isn't a lot of sex in it and there isn't a lot of nudity in it, but there's language all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
And as check.
I think it's good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay.
Sorry.
Because he was just checking to make sure the recorder was on. So here's one of my first notes. This is a quote. Let's not... so they're going to go see a prostitute. Now, the whole thing... This is such a long
entire
setup.
premise.
This is like 15% of the movie. Would you argue? Would you say it's even longer than that? Maybe
it might 20%? I think it might have been more than that,
20% of this movie is one joke. It is one big setup for a joke that is so... that takes maybe 2 seconds to unravel. Mm-hmm. It's all about going to see this prostitute, right?
Right.
Played by the future mother of Webster. Remember that sitcom Webster? So, anyway. So they're going to see the prostitute in the woods.
Yeah. And
some of the guys are like, oh, we're going to play a joke on them. We're going to hire or find this big, of course, black guy.
Yeah.
So scary. A black man. So... they find this black guy to like scare them. He's going to jump out with a machete. Someone's going to be covered in fake blood, and they're going to scare the living daylights out of all these naked guys waiting to have sex with the same prostitute. Please, can I throw up now or later?
Seriously,
so
gross. One woman, and they're supposed to just like take turns. I mean, come on.
The line,
so gross.
The line that Pee-wee says, who is. He has some issues.
Oh, Pee-wee. Oh, yes.
Let's not bring too many guys. That way we can all do her twice.
Ugh.
Okay. So they go and they all have to strip down and they're all waiting. And then there's another line where Meat's like the big muscular guy. Pretty cute. I'm not going to lie. But no one wants to go after Meat because, quote, she's going to be all stretched out after Meat's done with her. Mm-hmm. Like, this is lovely. What a charming coming-of-age story.
Right. Someone wrote down these words on paper.
Yeah.
Many people approved it, and people are saying these things.
People are lining up to see this movie in 1982.
And then people are watching it, paying money to watch it several times, probably.
Well, I mean, the dialogue is so awful, and then only making matters worse. Okay.
I have this. I think it's in the same scene.
Yeah.
No stripping, no dipping. Because they didn't want to strip.
Right.
No stripping, no dipping.
Oh, God. Yeah, so like you said, they said the N-word. They also say derogatory names for Jewish people
and
Hispanic
people. Everywhere. People. Yeah, this one guy is like just a complete asshole.
Yeah, and it's a weird tonal shift.
Yes.
They're talking about women as if women are dumpster whores.
They're basically vaginas.
They're just vaginas, yeah.
Yeah, they're not women, they're just vaginas.
Yeah, and everyone
else...
get
in there.
And everyone else is like, we should be respectful to their cultural difference. It's like, but women are just sex holes.
But they really weren't that respectful anyway. Like,
no.
So this guy...
Yeah, right, good.
Right?
Yep.
So this guy is a total racist. There's this one Jewish kid, Brian Schwartz. Played by Scott Columbia, who actually I really liked as an actor. I can't remember what else he was in, but he's like he's like really cute, like dark-haired actor. I feel like he was in like Joni Loves Chachi or something like that. Like he was in something else that I really, really liked. Anyway, so he's this Jewish kid, and this guy, I forget is it Tim? I forget somebody. I'm gonna say
they really put a lot of thought into this movie. There's characters and names are Timmy and Tommy.
Yeah. God. So one of them is this huge racist or whatever, and he's talking about him. He's like, I'm not going to have this, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to hang out with him. And his friends are like more accepting of him, of the Jewish boy. Yeah. But they don't they're still friends with this racist kid, and they take his side.
They even walk up to the Jewish kid, and he's like, "You have to understand."
Yeah.
Like the Jewish person has to understand why he's hated.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really bad.
And you know what, everyone, yes, it's 40 years ago, different times.
Yeah.
But someone wrote these words. I mean, come on. Someone, there was a through line in this story, and they thought that was a good scene to have in a movie.
Yeah.
It just seems
really
unnecessary.
bad.
It's like, be a raunchy comedy, or like, you can't, I'm sorry, do not ever try and do both. Please don't.
No, you really
Because it
can't.
feels so tacked on and weird and stupid, and there's a fist fight at the end, and I'm just like, really? Like, just keep it stupid,
It's very,
please.
very strange. Trying to... Like, that whole storyline... First of all, I understand why I forgot it, because it's so stupid and awful. But, like, this whole thing with him being such an asshole and being so racist, and the friends, like, still being friends with him. Mm-hmm. And then there's a whole thing with, like, Brian Schwartz helps them somehow. And then you find out, like, this kid, Timmy's father is the asshole, and he beats him up, right? And then all of a sudden he turns a corner, this kid. And now he's, like, not racist anymore or something. It was just my dad wanted me to be racist. And they become friends or something. Like, it's so fucking dumb.
Do you remember what
it's so dumb.
Timmy says to his father? At
What
the
did
big,
he say?
the
Oh
big
my God, I probably...
It is a big cinematic moment, Christina.
Oh my God.
He punches his father out, or not out, but down on the ground. And he says, and I quote, "I'd rather be queer than have a father like you."
Wow.
And I was like, thanks.
Wow. Is that what you said to your father? No,
I just said it really shaped me.
Yeah.
No,
I get it.
But it's like, I'd rather be queer than have a father like you. It's like, wait, and this is the good guy. This is the hero of the movie.
Yeah.
Who's coming to terms that he is tired of the racist banter with his dad. He's tired of the racism. So what does he say? I'd rather be queer than have a dad like you.
Well, that's really making a stand. That's really take a stand. Good guy, that one.
I think he says a queer. I'd rather be a queer.
Yeah, something probably like that. I wrote down here when they were talking to the Jewish kid. He actually says he's not a bad guy. Like they're talking to the Jewish kid about him.
Right. Yeah.
He's not a bad guy. And I wrote next to it, what? Like, of course he's a bad guy. Like, what are you talking about? So anyway, with that being said, that was like the main storyline, aside from all of this let's get Pee-wee laid storyline. Right? Through the whole movie, like the whole point is to get Pee-wee laid.
Pee-wee, I wrote this down, is very weird and manic. And at one point he says, "I'm gonna get her. I'm gonna get her. I'm gonna get her." It's like, God, gross. It's so gross. And then even at the end when he does have sex with that poor girl, and then he's like, he hangs out the bus window and he's like, yeah. I'm like, ew.
And that poor woman, the girl, I actually liked her.
I liked her too.
I liked her better than anybody else. She was probably the only woman that had a line in the whole movie didn't have a penis. I wrote, Pee-wee is super obnoxious. He has a one-track mind. And he's very enthusiastic! Exclamation point. Every line he had was like super over the top.
It's something's ill. Something's wrong with him.
Something is definitely wrong with him. But this girl, what was her name? What was her name in it? She was funny.
I did write her name down.
But she's, obviously like the whore, right? Because she's had sex with everybody. I forget her name. But anyway, I liked her. She had like a sense of humor about herself. She was actually probably one of the only characters that was sort of a real person.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Right?
I wish I wrote it down. I didn't write it down.
I forget too. She's the one that had the Mike Hunt joke?
Yes.
So I remember that joke.
Yeah.
I remember that whole scene, that whole joke scene when they wanted him paged.
Yeah, and it's funny.
It is a funny scene.
Yeah.
But there's very few of those scenes that made me laugh.
No, I know.
Most of the time, I was just like, please end.
It was, yeah, and I have to be honest, even the big moment with Kim Cattrall and the sex scene that is, again, another joke that is so set up. And really, he's like, why do you keep making the howling sound when I say your name? You'll find out. And all he wants to do is have sex with her.
Yeah.
And so the howling, he can't connect the dots why that might happen. Yeah. That scene is so awful because... So, Kim Cattrall is very committed to that scene.
Yeah, she is.
But I feel like... And so I did think, like, wouldn't it have been funnier? Either or. They kept cutting back and forth from, like, the sex to the gym.
Yeah.
Because everyone can hear her howling like a
hyena. Yeah,
or a werewolf, whatever.
Lassie,
yeah. Right. So, but it goes on for so long. And, again, the sex scene has no nudity in it. And there's just, like, it's just super weird. And they keep cutting back and forth. Yeah. And I'm thinking, one or the other. What if it just stayed on the sex scene? And then only when they're coming out of the room do they realize that everyone just heard them? Mm-hmm. Or the opposite. What if they never show the sex scene, but you just hear it?
That would have been much funnier.
One or the other. Because you're not even showing... the sex, like, it's weird. It's like, it's just this all, like, up close.
Yeah, I mean, once you get what's happening, you don't need to see it. You're not seeing anything. You're knowing what's happening up there.
Or make it funny and raunchy. He's just on top of her, and she's howling. Yeah. And it's fucking awkward. It's just like, oh my God, like, poor Kim.
Yeah. And they mentioned, the whole other thing, too, is they didn't have to keep saying, why do they call her Lassie? You'll find out. Or whatever. Why do they do the howling? Whatever it is that they ask. Yeah. They say that 3 or 4 times.
There's a lot of build up for this.
3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
You don't need that. You can say that once.
Yeah.
Once, and we would still find it mildly entertaining.
Going back to Tim really quick, just a note I have. It says, Tim's face is all beat up in a scene, and you find out his dad beat him up because, quote, his son got beat up by a Jew. Mm. So it is just so, like, if you're not going to... I mean, I don't even know why they even tried to tackle this in this dumb of a movie.
What's the point of that?
I did say, Kim Cattrall, it's a weird role. She's mousy and coy, and then snaps at the coach... very convincingly. She has that big scene.
Yeah.
But you never really know why she's just suddenly had enough. Like
there's no real...
it just feels like set up. It feels like a stagey setup.
It's a stage... Exactly. Yeah. You've got it right there. I thought it was funny. So the whole point of them going to Porky's, right? They're going to Porky's because they find out about this back room where they can get laid or whatever. So they make it it's an event. They all get together. They have an event. They're all going to Porky's. Pee-wee forgets his ID. You have one thing to remember. Your ID. That's it. That's all you need to do is show up and bring your ID. Mm-hmm. Come on.
I know.
Stupid.
What I found interesting about Porky's, besides the giant Confederate flag dangling in the middle of the place, is that, so they can't get in, but then they do let them in.
Yeah.
They are giving everyone in the place that works there a hard time. These boys are being like punks. Yeah. They're being punks. Like, we want to go in the back room. We want to talk to Porky right now. We want to talk to Porky. Porky comes down. They're, like, being all aggressive with Porky and being really disrespectful.
Yep.
So Porky decides they need to, like, basically cool off. So he sets them up to fall in the water. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's like, you learned your lesson. Because Porky's is a business, and they shouldn't be letting underage kids in there anyway. And if you're underage, you're certainly not going to be bossing me around. It's my own business. So he basically drops them in the water, and they all get out. So they decide, which is a perfectly logical solution, is to destroy Porky's, to level Porky's to the ground.
I mean, come on.
Like, it's... What they were wrong.
Yeah,
they were wrong.
Did you
Porky wasn't wrong.
When we decided to watch this movie, Brian, did you ever think you would be on the side of Porky's? Seriously, I never thought it. Now, are we super old at this point where we're just
Christina,
like, I get it, Porky?
The kid's like, I'm going to teach Porky a lesson. He goes, gets beat up. He comes back. I'm going to teach Porky a lesson. And he's like, you keep getting beat up. Let it go. Yeah. You're in the wrong. Dude, you are in the wrong. You are underage. Yes, I'm sorry you spent $100 to have sex with this random girl, the girls. They have 2 girls, whatever. And like, yes, but you shouldn't have been doing any of it anyway.
It's against the
law. And that is called a life lesson. When you learn a lesson, you take the lesson and you move on. You don't drive to someone's business and
literally destroy
it. They fucking burn it to the ground.
Yeah. Oh my God. It was so ridiculous.
It's out of control.
So ridiculous.
I was like, wait, I feel like I missed something. Because it was like, that's their response to what just happened.
Yeah.
I mean, and yeah, they try and
100%.
spin it. They try and spin it like, well, he kept beating up our friend. That isn't
but
your friend kept going back. He's dumb.
Yeah. And yeah, you don't level a business. I mean, that is our true revisit epiphany. This is a true middle-aged lens.
Oh my God, this poor guy. I felt bad for Porky.
I did too.
Yeah.
I did too. I mean, he's an asshole. He's like gross.
He's disgusting.
But
and
but he's not wrong.
But listen, the girls. Every time they show the girls off shift, the girls are laughing and having a great time.
Yeah.
Everyone that works there is having a great time.
Yeah.
Hey, if that's the Confederate flag is a different story. But if that's
he's a shitty person.
Oh, he's an awful person.
But it doesn't mean
at least he was playing by the law.
Right.
And yeah, he took the money because the kids were being friggin' rude to him and obnoxious and he wanted to teach them a lesson.
Right.
Like, Porky was right.
Yeah, Porky was definitely right. You heard it here first, folks. The other thing is, like, how are they not, how the kids, like, not arrested or sued? Like, I'll be honest, I didn't read, I've never watched any of, like, Porky's Revenge or Porky's 3 or anything like that. So maybe this does happen in the future, but how is it that these kids are not arrested for destroying this property?
So this is what's really messed up. The cop at the end says, well, you let them in, they were underage, which it's like your kids sort of busted their way in and so that was meaning, but here's the thing.
So is that the tit for tat? Like that's like
it makes no sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
Listen, I would, fine, I let these kids in, they had fake IDs, I didn't know, I let them in.
Right, even if they did, it's a fine.
It's a fine. Try rebuilding. What's more expensive, a fine for letting underage kids in your bar, or having to rebuild your bar from the ground up again? It doesn't make any sense how anybody's not on Porky's side. Like honestly, it is like pretty crazy. Okay, should we talk about the big shower scene?
Let's talk about the big shower scene.
Because I have a really weird memory. So, why do I remember, Pee-wee, two quick things. Pee-wee runs naked after the crazy machete scene.
Yes.
He's running. Why do I remember, seeing his full frontal run by the police car? I don't think that happened. The cops drive by him, but you don't really see anything.
Right.
And then cut to the shower scene. The first time I saw this, I thought I saw penis, and on Amazon, is it Prime or... Yeah, it's on Amazon Prime right now. Mm-hmm. I didn't see penis.
Well, I did. And Brian just dropped to the floor, you guys. I did. I rented this from the library.
Okay.
And so I was watching the scene, and of course everybody knows which scene we're talking about. There's there's a peephole, they're watching, and then the girls see that they're looking, and then one of the boys is like, for some reason, I don't understand why, he decides to put his penis in the hole.
First he sticks his tongue, and she puts soap on it, so naturally your perfect reaction is, I'm going to put my penis up there now.
It's like, then.
Dude, she just... What does she think is going to... She just slapped your tongue with soap. You think she's going to treat your penis... in a better way.
So he thought it was funny. And so that's the scene. And then, of course, Miss Coach Ballbricker
Yeah.
comes in
Yeah.
and sees it and grabs hold of it and pulls it. Okay, that's the whole scene. Well, I'm watching this, and I remembered seeing the penis, too. And I remember it being part of, like, that was part of the controversy. Like, you see a penis.
Yeah, you saw penis. It through a hole, yeah.
Yes. So, I rewound it.
Okay.
Because I wanted to see if the actually, like, how did they do it? I'm like, they couldn't have put a penis, like, you know, or obviously it's not a real penis in the movie, but they couldn't have, like, you know, I was, like, wondering, like, if they actually showed it. Yeah. And I rewound it, and I stopped it, and it is, like, a penis. There's a penis in that hole, like...
Really?
Yeah.
The penis that makes its way through the hole and out the other side.
Well, obviously, in the movies, it's not like a real... I don't think it's a real penis. Because it just shows a one spot where she's looking at the hole.
Yeah.
And then it shoots to the hole, and you see the penis there. It's very quick. You don't see it right away. You have to, like, rewind it. And you have to be committed. You have to be committed to
So that's the thing. I wonder if I did that back in the day. But I thought I saw it on cable. But because I remember, I'm like, oh, I remember I saw a penis. I don't remember what it looked like. But, like, this time around, there was, I didn't see a penis. And it was a weird angle, and I'm like, did they edit the penis out?
Did you try rewinding it or anything?
No, I didn't do that.
Well, you're not very committed to this podcast, clearly. So, yes, I purposely did it because I was like, is that really, like, and I'm saying, is it really a penis? Obviously, it's a prop.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking it's somebody's real penis in there, but...
Why couldn't it be? Well, when she grabs it and pulls it. Also, as a male... if someone ever grabbed onto your penis that way, I don't even know what, I mean, oh my God, like that upset me when she grabbed it and was pulling.
I can't even imagine.
Oh my Lord.
Ugh.
Yeah.
So that's definitely was shown right before she grabbed it, because she runs up to it. Remember, she like runs up to it, she grabs it, and I'm like, oh my God. And I stopped it, and it's definitely there. But yeah, I mean, that whole scene, I don't understand, like, what he was thinking, putting that in the hole. Yeah. I don't understand any of that. I don't understand what she was thinking, grabbing it. Like, did she think she was calling people she was saying, somebody, call the police or something.
But also, it starts with the overweight girl walking in the hole. And that's so, oh my God, just so friggin'
just
rude.
All this fat shaming.
It's so gross.
It's just gross, disgusting,
and he's like, it's Polly the penis. And I'm like, well, show it.
Yeah.
I don't know, didn't see it. Mm-hmm. I mean, when she grabbed it, I saw that. Like, when she grabbed this, you can see it from the side.
Well, you could see it actually, there's a frame.
Okay.
Of the hole with the penis through it.
Interesting.
It's like seconds before she grabs it.
Funny.
Yeah.
Didn't catch that.
Yeah.
I just never understood why you would stick your dick through a hole when you stick your tongue out. You got soap on it. Why would you stick your dick out? I mean, it's just so weird.
It is. I don't know what he expected to happen.
Okay, let's see. Okay, and this is, to me, one of the unfunniest, like, weirdest scenes I have seen since we've started this podcast.
Okay.
The scene where Ballbricker is trying to ask for a lineup of penises to identify, and the guys in the background are laughing.
Yeah.
Did you laugh?
Nope.
What? Like,
no, it was...
Nothing is, once again, it's like Dead Poet Society. Once again, nothing is as funny as the characters in this movie. Like, no one thinks this is funnier than they do.
No one thinks this is funny.
Except
no one thinks it's funny. It was very strange. You know what's really funny about this movie, too? I was thinking, my memory of this movie is they actually did have a lineup.
Christina, I kept waiting for that scene.
Oh my God.
It's so true. I kept waiting. I was like, oh, because they're going to do it. They're going to do the lineup.
Yeah, my memory is they had the lineup, but they didn't.
No.
Isn't that funny?
That's so weird.
It is weird. But not hilarious.
But oh my
God,
hilarious. Not hilarious.
Like,
I mean, they're like falling over in their chairs.
They could not contain themselves.
I don't understand. Like, it wasn't funny.
And like,
she's kind of a joke anyway. Like, Ballbricker's a weird character because, like, she's too campily crazy serious to take seriously.
Yeah.
But if she was like some sort of stone cold, like, serious bitch trying to have a serious conversation, but she's kind of a joke anyway, and it's just not funny.
It isn't.
Oh, it's so weird.
And what's the other interesting part about that was she's having this conversation with whatever, the dean or whoever, the principal. I don't know who she was having the conversation with, trying to get the line up. And these two guys are cracking up laughing next to her. They didn't even notice that they were laughing. Like, there's no reaction at all from them.
Yeah.
Like, if I was having a conversation, what I perceived to be a serious conversation, and people were next to me laughing, especially her personality, who's outspoken, I would have said, shut the hell up or something.
I would have banged on the glass. Be like, keep it down.
There was no gas. There was no glass. They were sitting in the same room.
Oh, I thought there was like a border. I thought they were behind glass.
They were literally next to her in the same room.
Wait, what? I thought they were
office.
in a different room. I thought they were in the room next door. Oh
no, they were literally sitting next to
them.
them.
Yeah, that's so stupid.
Yeah, it was really...
That's so stupid that she wouldn't have told them to be quiet. Because she's still a woman of authority there.
She is, and she's very outspoken.
Oh my gosh. Should we take a little break?
Let's take a little break.
We're very heated up.
I need to take a cold shower.
Please, I wish this movie was like as raunchy as
super not raunchy
as it pretends to be. Yeah.
All right, we'll be right back.
All right.
Hey there, it's Brian and Christina. We just wanted to take this break to thank you for listening to Old Roommates, the only podcast that revisits pulp culture through a middle-aged lens. Please subscribe to Old Roommates on iTunes, Spotify, and wherever you listen to podcasts. And give us a rating or review while you're there.
And if you have any questions, comments, or observations, shoot us an email at oldroommatespod@gmail.com. And follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Old Roommates. Thanks for listening, and now, back to the show.
And we're back talking about the beloved film. Porky's.
I mean, once again, I want to repeat, $136 million in 1982, the fifth highest grossing film. I don't understand. I don't understand the thinking behind this movie. I mean,
honestly, it must have been just that. Maybe we're underplaying the lack of porn available to youth, to the 20, the teenagers.
How disappointing.
Not then, I don't think. I mean, if you've never... So, think about this. Like, now, you can see a naked person on, like, an ad on TV, for God's sake. But, think about this. Like, the teenage years totally, like, amped up, right? The hormones are raging. And the only way you'd be able to get, like, any kind of picture or anything of a naked person would be... stealing your father's Playboy or something.
I know, but this is rated R, so, like, young people wouldn't really be able to get in. They'd still have to buy the ticket for an R-rated movie.
Right.
And this made money at the box office. This isn't like, it was a hit on cable, and this was a hit anyway.
But there weren't any, like, these, I don't think, am I wrong in thinking there weren't any sex comedies?
Right,
was this,
and was this a date movie? Was this honestly a date movie? Oh my god.
Can you imagine somebody taking a date to this?
Oh my god, when you talk about the scene, how about the scene where, that freshman girl. Oh my god.
I haven't, oh my god, I haven't noticed
that was so upsetting.
That is so disgusting.
It's so disturbing.
This little girl walks up, little girl, she's, ninth grade
she's a freshman. Ninth grade.
So what is that, 14 years old?
Yeah, 14.
She comes up and they dared her to come up to him and ask, why do they call you meat? And he's like, oh, and at first he's just like, oh, you don't want to know. And she's like, no, I really want to know. And she's not being sexual about it. She's being like, I'm just curious.
Yeah, I'm a freshman. Yep.
And he's ready to take her behind the school.
Yep.
To what? Rape her?
Yeah. Oh, 1,000%.
Right? Like, what is, like, I don't understand, like.
Yep, because they were even like, well, take it easy on her. She's a freshman. Like, whatever. It's like, take it
what?
easy on her.
Yeah, so disturbing. That was the very beginning of the movie. That was like one of the first scenes.
So disturbing.
Yeah. Really, really disturbing. So. Oh my gosh. So, what were we saying?
Okay, really quick.
Yeah, so
really,
my point is, I had a point somewhere. Anyway, I just feel like
we're talking about
it wasn't as readily available, and I'm wondering if this is one of the first sex comedies that they released.
Yeah, you're probably right about that. Yeah,
so maybe we just underplaying the availability of this stuff.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I just don't think it's a terrible movie.
Terrible.
It's like not funny. It's just terrible. Funny. It's not funny. That's the thing. It's sex comedy. It's not funny. It's not sexy.
Right.
I mean, like,
so it's just
a little sad.
Yeah. Really sad.
So this movie was made in Canada for tax reasons because they got funding from a Canadian production company.
Mm-hmm.
So, but speaking of Canada, I want to quickly say, so for a couple months we have been charting in Canada, and if you are from Canada, if you're listening to this right now, thank you so much to Canada.
That is amazing.
We are appearing on their film and TV charts, and yeah, it's kind of nice to see, and,
well, we
really appreciate it.
That.
Thank you, Canada, for listening.
Canada.
Me too.
We went to
Quebec City, which I think is one of the most beautiful.
I absolutely want to go back there.
One of the best trips, and then
I definitely want to go back
Montreal for the Jazz Fest.
We've been there several times. Amazing country. We love Canada. Thank you guys.
Okay, so now, sorry. Were you all set with?
I'm all done.
Yeah.
I have nothing else
Did
to
we
say.
like it more? Less, or about the same?
I have to give it some thought about that. Oh my God.
So much less. So less. It wasn't even...
It's such a waste of my 1 hour and 39 minutes of my life.
Yeah, there's nothing sexy or even... To be honest, even like raunchy. It's just... Like, raunchy to me is like... Campy, gross, funny, gross out. It's almost like something about Mary, like some of the bigger scenes in that movie. It's like, and this is just, it's just like foul.
It's just gross.
Yeah, it's gross.
It's a gross movie.
Yeah, but not even gross out comedy. Like it's like a lot of it is the dialogue.
It's not like Bridesmaids when they had like gross and the
gross,
pooping and all that.
Right.
It's nothing like that. It's not funny. There's no entertainment
and the
value.
Dialogue is so the dialogue is really gross. I'd almost say see it because you might not really believe your ears on some of the stuff.
I wouldn't put that. I would not wish that on my worst enemy.
No,
honestly, don't see it.
Don't revisit.
Trust us. You will regret it. It's not what you remember it to be.
It's not what you remember.
Keep your memories.
Yeah.
So I have
Let's hear it.
I have an FMK for you. Oh wait.
No, I have the FMK.
I'm so sorry. You do. I have. You know what? I had both, but I'll let you do that. Okay. Let me.
I think I'm being nice about this.
Oh, okay, good. All right, so let me see the question first. I have to get it on my phone. I already know what kind of, but all right. So the ladies of Porky's, the people who work at Porky's, are very, very dirty.
How dirty are they?
They are so dirty. When they take a shower, they need to use blank.
God. They need to use blank.
I need to write down my answer.
Okay. Good question.
Oh, thank you. I thought it was a little bit weak, but thank you.
Oh God, I hope this is a match.
I know we haven't matched in a while, Brian.
No, I know.
What's that say about our friendship?
No, but you know what though? It's funny. Like, and remember that when we first started doing this, we never ever matched.
Yes, and then we went through a phase of matching a lot. Yeah.
Do.
Okay.
Do.
Ding.
Okay.
All right. So the ladies of Porky's are so dirty. When they shower, they have to use
turpentine.
Not bad. I said bleach. Same idea.
Yes.
Same idea.
Very much so.
Turpentine. That's a word I haven't heard in a while.
It's like it's a paint remover and stuff. It peels anything off.
Peels anything off. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
So
all right.
funny.
So FMK.
Okay. I'm ready.
Meet.
Mm-hmm.
Timmy's dad.
Oh, jeez. How is this easy?
And Timmy.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right. I'm killing Timmy's dad.
Yeah.
Just because he's just awful. I'm a little afraid of effing meat. From what I understand.
Oh, really quick. I saw a lot of penis when they're all sitting outside, and they jumped up and ran.
Oh, yeah.
Right, there was penis in that. Yeah.
So was he as big as they are portraying him as?
It wasn't a good look for any of them.
No. I've never really thought naked. I mean, a naked man. No offense to anybody, but it's just sort of dangling there. So, okay, so moving on. So I guess I would marry Meat.
Really?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to marry Tim.
You wouldn't have sex with me, but you'd marry him?
Well, I mean, we've had this conversation before.
We have. Are you assuming it's a sexless marriage?
I'm assuming it's kind of basically one or the other, right?
Oh my god, I would have F Meat and married Timmy. I mean, I actually thought Timmy was cute, and now that he's worked on his racism,
I don't think he has a lot of issues. That one, I couldn't marry this guy.
I guess that's true because then his dad would be in your life all the time.
Well, he'd be dead because I killed him.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
But no, I wouldn't want to marry Tim because I do feel like even though like
oh my god, you're right. Yeah, you would kill him.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that. Christine, you're always thinking.
I am trying it. I try. But yeah, I just don't think I would want him because I didn't really buy his whole transformation and he was still feeling like
he'd rather be queer. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean
he has a lot to learn.
There was a lot of stuff going on.
Really quick, Pee-wee, when I was talking about him in the bus after he has sex,
yeah,
he does a Tarzan yell. Oh my god in heaven. And then Baldicker jumps out of the bushes and jumps on top of
What'd you just call her?
Baldicker? What's her name? Baldicker. That's her.
Baldbricker.
I wrote it down as Baldicker.
Because then they would call her Ballbreaker.
Ballbreaker.
That was her
nickname. So what was it?
Ballbricker.
Okay. And moral turpitude.
Oh my god!
Really quick.
So then she jumps out of the.
She clobbers him. Yeah. Okay, really quick. The prostitute is the mom from Webster. The cop, who is the brother of Porky's, or whatever,
bad cop,
is the dad on Webster. Remember Webster, Emmanuel Lewis?
I remember. I never watched it, but I do know it.
So yeah, Emmanuel Lewis. The show Webster is they adopted a black kid, and the parents of Webster both have roles of Porky's. How did they even get those jobs?
That's bizarre.
It's so weird.
So weird. Oh my
god. This is really a moment. Do not see Porky's, but listen to this episode over and over.
Definitely.
And that is it for us and for this episode of Old Roommates. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe to Old Roommates on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and wherever you listen to podcasts. And give us a rating or a review while you're there, please.
If you have an idea for the show or a suggestion or comment, you can email us at oldroommatespod@gmail.com. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Old Roommates. This is Christina.
And this is Brian.
Thanks again for listening. Until next time.